What is up, everyone? Welcome back to our lawn, and today we're talking about how we deal with weeds in a newly seeded lawn. It's that time of year. We've gone through the process of seeding, and please excuse all of this. I need desperately to both water and get fungicides down. I think I'm fighting issues from both. But you've gone through, maybe done a renovation, maybe you seeded a bare spot, maybe you've just done a general overseed. Now you've been watering and watering and watering, and as a result, a bunch of weeds have come up. Not ideal, very frustrating when we're trying to have the lawn of our dreams via planting grass seed. But it's very simple to deal with and get rid of them. So let's talk about the process and how we're going to do it. Now, I had a lot of weeds come up, and that's going to generally happen when you try to plant seed, because we're going to water it in a way to get plant seeds to germinate. And that plant is not limited to the grass seed you put down. It's also every weed seed in that area. So it's common, and I don't want you to panic if you're doing this and you start to see weeds come up. Now, there is, for us cool season folks, at least one product that we can put down at the time of seeding that will help prevent some of this. That product being mesotrione, that comes in either a Scott's granular for seeding product that you can use, or Tenacity is going to be the most commonly known liquid product. And that will help with and deal with some of the initial weeds that come up. Another thing you can do is don't underestimate the hardiness of your new grass plants. You can walk on it a little bit. Don't go stomping around. Don't go digging and twisting your feet. But you can go out there and walk on it, and you can get out there and hand pull as many weeds as you're able to pull throughout the process of getting that yard to germinate and establish. But then we get into, once enough time has passed, we get the opportunity to use herbicide products. I strongly recommend one of these two. They're Spectricides, weed stops for lawns. I have this yellow one for those of you who have followed along with me and have seeded a putting green with bent grass. This is a safe product. Right there is something that's safe to use, and what I did use, and we can go look at the results when we're done talking about this. For every other cool season grass, I recommend this because we pick up quinclorac, which is effective at dealing with any of the crabgrass and some other grassy weed issues that have come up. And so the only real things you need to know is when you can use them and how much you're supposed to use, and all of that information is going to be found in the label of whatever product you chose to use. The vast majority are going to live somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks after germination and or 3 to 5 cuts, so that grass has grown enough where it has justified you cutting it 3 to 5 times. The longer you're willing to wait, obviously the safer you will be in terms of spraying that grass, because it becomes hardier and hardier the more it matures. But generally speaking, you can look on the label and there will be a after seeding or newly seeded or some sort of instructions on when you can use the product for newly seeded grass. And then the other is the rate that you can use. So for your grass type, every herbicide product will have information in the label that tells you the broadcast, and we are going to broadcast. Don't spot spray, just spray the whole area. A broadcast label rate that you're supposed to mix in 1 gallon of water, and you need to apply that to every 1,000 square feet of grass. Now, if you need to measure the area, you can either use the old-fashioned way and get out there with a tape measure or pace it off or do whatever you need to do to measure it, or you can go check out the video I have on measuring your yard to figure out exactly how big that space is using either a county GIS map or Google Earth. Once you know that, we know the thousands of square feet of space that you need to cover. You're going to take the application rate, multiply that by the 1,000 square feet that you have, mix the appropriate amount of product and the appropriate amount of gallons of water, and go out there and spray evenly. Ideally, you don't cut 2 days before or 2 days after. I often don't follow the before mow rule because I really like to have the stripes from my mower to help me keep track of where I've been going down and back. You could also use some sort of marking dye, but I just like using the lawn stripes as a guide. Obviously, again, you will help improve the effectiveness of the product if you do it, if you give yourself 2 days before and 2 days after I'm mowing. If you don't already have one, either pick up a hand pump sprayer, or what I would really recommend is some sort of 4-gallon backpack pump or battery operated sprayer. That will make your life so much easier, and it will become so much more effective whenever you need to kill weeds versus the granular equivalent of any sort of weed killer product. As promised, we'll walk back here, and I do believe I have some before footage that I can show you right now as we're walking. But again, I have videos out there on not panicking when you have weeds in new seed, not panicking if it didn't come in perfectly full, because we can solve all these problems. Weeds being a key one, and one that's very simple to solve. So let's take a look. You have the before, now let's take a look at that same area after. This is about exactly a month after the first spray. I do have a few weeds that are sticking around, so again, on that same label we use to find the interval after germination and when we can apply and the rate, there's also a reapplication window on there of how long you need to wait for the second application. You come back through, spray that same product, the same amount, the same volume over the same amount of space, and that should clean up any remaining weeds, and you will have a weed-free newly seeded yard. If you have grassy weeds that remain, now it's time for you to do a little bit of research, figure out what that plant is, and find yourself an herbicide that controls it, or get yourself something where you can pull those plants out of the ground and have yourself the perfect yard that you wanted when you seeded. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that's helpful. Leave any questions you might have in the comments. I gotta get water started on here so I can water, and then I gotta get fungicide on here because I think I am probably only a few days or a week away from losing a lot of this, and I would like to not lose my whole practice facility again. So subscribe to the channel if you found it helpful and you want to follow along to anything else we're doing here in our lawn. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.